What's up, 10 Scale Squad? This is a Tamiya TT-02. More specifically, it's a Subaru BRZ. More specifically than that, this is the cheapest 10 scale Tamiya RC car that money can buy. So get your vapes out and let's live that boxer life as we take a look at this thing and see just how much RC car you can get when you're cheaper than my ex-girlfriend. Jesus, right with me. At just $99, and even cheaper if you do some searching, it's definitely got a lot going for it. I mean, just look at it. Pretty well detailed for Lexan. Look at these light buckets. They have stickers for the lenses of the HIDs, and I think it looks pretty convincing. There's stickers for everything, in fact. Everything on the real car is represented in 10th scale. What we have here is a scale as shit car by one of the biggest names in the RC world that won't break the bank. So what's the catch? Well, you gotta build it. Yep, the TT-02 comes as a kit that you have to assemble yourself. Luckily, the instructions are super easy to follow, and we've actually built a few of them on this channel before. We can usually complete the chassis in a few hours, and if this is your first kit, don't worry. Trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. I have that,
what's it called? That attention disorder.
Or ADD?
Yes, that
but there's just something about building Tamiyas that calms me down. Seriously though, it's almost therapeutic in a way. You know, you just set aside a few hours one evening, you get a nice adult beverage, put on some good jams, and just relax for a few hours. Give yourself some time to clear your mind of all that other crap, you know. You don't have to think about the fact that your girlfriend of 7 years, well, you just found out that she's been cheating on you for months. And when you finally found out, she acts like it's your fault somehow. 7 years. You gave her the best years of your life. And when you finally find out that she's cheating on you, she's like, oh, well, we weren't together. Really? That was news to me. Usually when you want to break up with someone, you don't live with them. And there's usually some sort of conversation like, hey, I want to date other people. You don't just go along thinking everything's fine, and then when you get found out, you say, oh, well, I broke up with you months ago. Apparently I didn't get the memo. I mean, no, we're not talking about me specifically. Anyway, before you know it, you'll have your very own TT-02 that you built yourself. Something you can take pride in. Something that will make you smile every time someone asks you, hey, where did you get that? And you reply with, well, I built it myself. Something that you can put on the shelf where your ex-girlfriend used to keep that stupid scented wax burner to mask the smell of her betrayal. The thing is fun to drive. I totally understand why hobby shops across the world have racing leagues for this thing. It handles really well. It's fast enough to be exciting on smooth, flat surfaces. And if you're not a vape god, there are tons of different bodies to choose from. I just got this one because it's the cheapest. And I'm a vape god. And I've always liked the BRZ. Don't get me wrong, the Evo is superior to the WRX in every way, but that's an argument for a different day. Speaking of making it your own, if you're not a fan of the friction shocks and the brushed motor and all plastic, well, everything, don't worry. There's tons of factory and aftermarket bits, so you can spend as much money on it as you want to. This is none other than Jeff C's Subaru WRX Tamiya TT-02. The real RC Addicts Garage on Instagram, RC Addicts Garage on the YouTubes. And this thing is built to the freaking gills. Not only does it have pretty much every aftermarket Tamiya part that they make, we're talking drive shafts, we're talking steering, I mean all of it. It also has a hobby wing, freaking Max 10 in it. The body is all custom painted and custom stickered. It's got these big old blast cannons sticking out the back of it. It's got freaking underbodies, just like his real Subaru. And this thing runs on freaking 3S. It's brushless. It's faster than it really has any right to be. And of course, it's got these cool wheels on it, which is actually a staggered size to fit these box flares on the WRX body. I think really freaking well. So this is just one example. Oh, you know, it's got magnetic body posts, the whole freaking 9 yards. Really scale looking. So this is an example of just how crazy you can get with one of these. I don't know if he's ever actually going to drive this thing or if he's just going to stick it on the shelf, and, you know, represent, you know, the Subaru Boxer vape life. But if he does run it, check out his channel and you can see more of it over there. So that's it. Gather up 99 doll hairs and go get one, right? Well, not exactly. You see, this kit comes with a motor, an ESC, pretty much everything you need except a steering servo, a transmitter and receiver, and a battery and a charger to charge the battery. So it's gonna be up to you to get that stuff. Now, I just have a super cheap, like 15 kg servo in this thing that I got for, I think it was around 15 bucks. Really inexpensive, and it's plenty for this car. And I'm using this HPI transmitter and receiver that I actually had from a different car that I wasn't a big fan of it, so I pulled it out, and I thought, it's good enough for this. You really just need a cheap 2-channel transmitter and receiver. And then there's the paint. These Lexan bodies obviously come clear, so you're going to have to paint them. Now, I know what you're thinking, fellas. Don't just go down to the hardware store and buy the cheapest rattle can that you can find on the shelf. You really want to go and get Lexan paint that's made for Lexan bodies. Spend the little bit of money on it and thank me later. A little can like this is usually around 10 bucks or so, and you can get away with just one can painting the body, but really, ultimately, you're going to want another color to back it. Whether you use black to give it like a really deep and rich color depth like this, or white to really make the color pop, or you could even back it with silver to give it some depth and some shimmy and maybe some metallic-y bits. And on this one, I actually painted the wheels gold because I think it looks cool, you know, green for the money and gold for the honey. And I've always really liked this color combination. So I've probably got, I don't know, close to 30 bucks just in paint on this body. Now, if you're anything like me, you've got tons of batteries and chargers laying around, so I didn't need to buy a battery and charger for this. But if you're new to the hobby, if this is your first build, you're gonna need that. So that's $99 for the car, $15 for the steering servo. Let's call it 50 bucks for a really cheap 2-channel transmitter and receiver, and then very minimum 10 bucks in paint. Right there, we're at like over $170. Maybe you have some of that stuff laying around that you can, you know, save some coin. But if you don't, you're gonna need that stuff to get this going. And then you really have to start looking at some of the other 10-scale touring cars in that price bracket. I mean, for instance, the Red Cat Lightning is a really great chassis, and it's ready to run for 150 bucks. You know, it comes with oil-filled shocks, metal drive shaft, other little metal bits, and it comes with a battery and charger. They're not great, but at least it comes with them. So what should you do? Well, you might want to watch this video about built versus bought RC cars. Obviously, something you build yourself, you're going to have much more of a connection to it. And if you're into modifying, this is a great place to start. But if you're more interested in running over than wrenching, and it's your first build, you don't have any of that stuff laying around, I don't know. Do not let the kit intimidate you. Seriously, honestly, like I said before, if I can do it, you can do it. If you've ever built anything out of Lego, this is very similar. But most importantly, you shouldn't listen to me. You should buy what makes you happy. You shouldn't listen to those people out there that are literally getting paid to tell you to buy something. Buy what makes you happy, and find a source out there that you know and you trust, and you know that's what we try and do here. Down in the comment section below, you'll meet the 10 scale squad, and they are just an absolute wealth of knowledge. So if you have questions, if you have comments, leave them down below, and you know, we'll try to address it and hopefully point you in the right direction. Anyway, that is going to do it for this one, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Do you have a TT-02? Do you race TT-02s? Do you leave yours stock? Or do you modify them? We've got a bunch of TT-02s in the inventory now, and I really think that we should maybe, I don't know, race them, you know? We've got stock ones, we've got modified ones, we've got real pretty ones, we've got not so pretty ones, and it really would be fun to take out all of our 10-scale touring car Tamiyas and run them around a track somewhere. If that's something you want to see, let me know. And if this is your first time checking out the video, welcome. I'm glad you found it. I like to do RC shenanigans like this all the time. I've got some wicked stuff coming up. You're going to want to stick around. All right, guys, until next time. Chopping Traxxas Vortex out here. We're chopping them.